38 sign stood beside the curb, like a number too heavy to read. My calves were tight, my fingers were cold, and the finish felt like another city. I stopped asking for a strong feeling, stopped searching for the runner I planned. I picked a white line 5 meters ahead and gave my mind a smaller job. 10 steps to the next shadow, 10 steps to the traffic cone, 10 steps past the man with the flag, then 10 more before I could think. 10 steps at a time, don't count the marathon, count the ground under tired feet. 10 steps at a time, not pretty, not smooth, but enough to keep moving. I don't need the whole road inside my head, I just need the next 10. The next 10. Someone shouted, "You're almost there," and I almost laughed, because almost felt huge. My shirt was heavy, my jaw was locked, and every sound arrived too bright. So I made the world small on purpose. A shoe tip, a white line, a breath in, a breath out, a count I could survive. 10 steps through the cramp warning, 10 steps without checking pace, 10 steps to the next drink station, then water, then begin again. 10 steps at a time. When the big goal turns cruel, make it smaller. 10 steps at a time. When the clock gets loud, let the body count. I may not look strong from the sidewalk, but I am still choosing the next 10. The next 10. At 40 kilometers, the city came back, not all at once, just in pieces. A child clapped, a drum hit twice, and the blue finish arch stopped feeling impossible. 10 steps at a time, until 10 became 20, until 20 became the final turn. 10 steps at a time. I carried the broken parts without asking them to become beautiful. 10 steps at a time, over the mats, under the noise, and to the finish. White line, tight calves, count 10, come home. Come home. I slept maybe 3 hours, maybe less, counting ceiling lines in a room too warm. My stomach was nervous, my right knee was quiet, but quiet in a way I didn't fully trust. The parking lot smelled like rain and coffee. Runners walked past with plastic covers on. I almost stayed seated inside the car, hands on the wheel, letting doubt make sense. I didn't feel powerful, I didn't feel chosen, I didn't feel ready the way songs promise. But the number was pinned, the shoes were tied, and the start line was not asking for perfect. Not perfect, just present, standing here with a shaking breath. Not perfect, just present, I brought my body as it is today. If this is all I have, then this is what I start with. Not polished, not fearless, not gone. In the corral, someone checked their watch, someone bounced lightly like the morning loved them. I kept both feet still inside the painted line, trying to make peace with my uneven heartbeat. The announcer's voice rolled over the crowd, but I heard my own thoughts much louder than the speaker. Turn around, play safe, try another race, come back better. Maybe better is not always later. Maybe better is answering today. Maybe courage sometimes looks ordinary, like staying in place until the gun. Not perfect, just present. direction. Not perfect, just present. The gun goes off, and so do I. Not perfect, just present. Crossing the line with everything unfinished. Maybe today won't become a record. Maybe today will simply become proof that I can arrive without feeling ready and begin before I feel complete. Cold hands, wet shoes, one step, I'm here. I lay my race kit on the floor last night. Shoes by the door, chip tied. A clear bag waiting with gloves and tape and all the small things. Fear makes you check twice. The house was quiet before the first rain. I tried not to wake the people I love. Coffee and silence, toast in my hand, a nervous stomach doing its best. I used to think brave men feeling ready, like confidence arrived fully dressed. But maybe brave is packing the bag while your hands shake and going anyway. Ready is a kind of brave, not loud, not shining, not fierce at all. Ready is a kind of brave. I checked what I could, now I stand here with the rest in my chest. On the platform, runners stood apart, each with a number and a private worry. Someone stretched quietly, someone stared down, someone kept laughing a little too much. I touched my pocket, felt the first jolt, then the second, then the train arrived. The doors opened like a question, and we stepped in one by one. No one could see the early alarms, the skip dessert, the rainy 10 kilometers. No one could hear the promise I made to keep my pace when the city gets loud. Ready is a kind of brave, when the start line makes your mouth dry and your legs too honest. Ready is a kind of brave, not because I know how this ends, but because I came prepared. If doubt sits beside me, I won't push it away. It can ride with me until the first turn. If fear keeps talking, I'll answer with rhythm. Left, right, water, breath. Ready is a kind of brave. The gate is ahead, the road is open, the morning is wide. Ready is a kind of brave. I don't need to feel perfect, I only need to start with what I brought. And if my name shakes inside my chest, I'll carry it all the way. Backpack, train doors, dry mouth. Start. I pinned the bib with shaking hands, 4 small organized. 2 gels on the right, 1 spare on the left. A target time written on my wrist, not as a promise but as a guide. The announcer counted and my chest tightened like the whole city had leaned toward me. I touched the watch but didn't start it yet. Some moments need hands, some moments need trust. Prepare and pray. I don't need thunder to cross this line. Prepare and pray. Let the road be long. I came with a plan. If the bridge gets windy, I'll lower my shoulders. If the crowd pulls hard, I'll guard the pace. If my stomach turns, I'll take small water. If my legs get loud, I'll answer in pieces. Prepare, then pray. The gun breaks open and the street begins. Prepare, then pray. 1 step from waiting, 1 step into proof. I don't know the finish, but I know the start. I did the quiet work, now I can be brave. Pins tight, hands cold, watch ready, go. Go. At 23, my fingers found the packet, sticky from the heat, inside my back pocket. The crowd was waking up near the wide intersection, and my legs were whispering, maybe now. I wanted to search, wanted to test the morning, wanted to turn courage into speed too soon. But my stomach was quiet, and quiet can be useful, so I tore the corner before the gamble began. Citrus on my tongue, water from a paper cup, half of my shirt, half where it needed to go. No heroic moment, no beautiful camera, just a runner doing the boring thing right. The gel before the gamble, the plan before the pride. I don't bet my finish on the feeling at halfway. The gel before the gamble, 1 small choice for the miles that haven't shown their teeth yet. At 26, the course dipped under and the cheering thinned beneath the concrete. Footsteps got louder, breathing got personal. Every runner suddenly owned their own silence. I passed the timing mat without making a promise. Not to the clock, not to the people watching. I promised my calves I would not spend them on a flashy minute I could not afford. The old mistake had a familiar taste, sweet at first, then empty later. This time I waited until the gel settled, until my arms loosened, until the eyes became clean. The gel before the gamble, the breath before the move. I am not afraid, I am preparing. The gel before the gamble, let the course get honest, then I'll answer with what I kept. Came without music, just cones, shadows, and a volunteer clapping alone. I checked my hands, checked my shoulders, found 1 steady gear, and stayed there. The gel before the gamble, now the bet is mine. Not reckless, not loud. The gel before the gamble, I waited long enough to know this push was not panic. I passed 1 runner walking, then another looking down. I wished them well and carried my own name forward. Tear, swallow, breathe, then go. The start gun cracked and everyone surged like the first kilometer was asking for courage. I felt the pull in my patient, my hands stayed loose. I let the fast feet burn their matches first. At 10 kilometers, I wanted to feel special, wanted to pass someone, wanted proof. But the course was long and my legs were listening, so I swallowed my pride with the first gel. I'm saving fire for 30K, not wasting sparks where the cameras wait. I'm saving fire for 30K, for the quiet stretch where the real race starts. Let them fly now, let them shine early. I came here to still be alive later. At the halfway mat, the crowd got louder and my heart almost made a bad decision. I saw the clock, saw a chance to gamble, then looked at my breathing and chose the plan. A sponge hit my shoulder, cold water down my neck. Someone yelled my number like I was stronger than I felt. I smiled for a second, then settled again. Not slow, just stored. There is a trap in feeling good too soon. A sweet little lie with cheering on it. I have met that lie near the final bridge when both cast tightened and the sky got wide. I'm saving fire for 30K, for the part that doesn't clap. I'm saving fire for 30K, for the place where names get heavy. Not every strong runner looks strong early. Some of us wait for the course to ask. 25 came quiet, 28 came honest, 30 stood ahead with no smile. I checked my arms, checked my jaw, took one more gel and entered the question. I'm saving fire for 30K. Now the noise is thinner, now the legs are telling truth. I'm saving fire for 30K. Now I understand why I held back. One runner stopped, one runner walked. I didn't judge them, I just kept counting. I'm saving fire for 30K, and after 30, I gave it back. Small flame, deep breath, late race. I'm still here. My pace looks ordinary on the training app. Nothing impressive, nothing anyone would share. 7 minutes something beside my name, but I know the weight inside that number. I passed the same factory after the evening shift, with tired calves and a lunchbox in my bag. The sky had no drama, the streets had no music, just a body trying not to quit early. I used to hide the slower runs like they were proof I didn't belong. Now I leave them there in the calendar, because honest miles are still miles. Still training, still slow, still showing up when nobody knows. Still breathing, still low, building a runner at a pace I used to hate. Still training. At the pedestrian bridge, my legs got heavy and the watch suggested nothing special, but I kept the rhythm small and stubborn. Not pretty, not fast, not finished. Somebody warmed up faster than my best kilometer and disappeared before the next slide. I almost laughed because comparison is a loud coach with terrible advice. Marathon pages sit open on my phone, cut off time, shoe reviews, weather from last year. I don't look ready from the outside, but every slow run is teaching my legs the language. training, still slow, but I am not outside the store. Still training, still slow, and one day the marathon will meet the person these quiet runs made. No spotlight, no excuse, slow pace, real work. Work late with heavy eyes, and a shirt still carrying the shape of the day. The park lights blinked above the wet path, and my legs were honest before my mind was. Running past quickly near the tennis courts, and something in me wanted to answer, but my breath said wait, my shoulders said easy, so I let the footsteps fade into the dark. I used to turn recovery into another exam, checking every kilometer like it owed me proof. But tonight I noticed the trees beside the course and the moon sitting low over the quiet apartments. Not every run is a race, not every mile needs fire. Some nights are made for coming back lighter. Not every run is a race, I don't have to win the street, I can move through the evening without fighting my feet. The first lap was stiff, the second felt warmer, the third became a conversation between air and skin. No finish banner, no invisible rival, just a slow circle teaching me to stay. My watch kept glowing, but I stopped asking if this was enough to be called training, because sweat can be quiet and strength can be patient, and a gentle run can still change the week. There is a courage in not speeding up when the body is tired and the ego is loud. There is a wisdom in leaving the spark for the morning that actually needs it. Not every run is a race, not every night needs proof. Sometimes the bravest thing is keeping the pace off. Not every run is a race, I can breathe and still belong, I can run without chasing and still be getting strong. Maybe the quiet days are where I learn to trust the plan without applause. Maybe the easy miles are not empty miles, maybe they are the floor beneath the fast one. Not every run is a race, so I let the last lap smile. No sprint to the corner, no bar with the clock. Not every run is a race, I came home with calm legs, and for once that felt like enough. Soft pace, clear head, one more day kept alive. I used to race the first hill before my body was warm, turning every quiet run into a private test. Then Sunday found me empty at 26 kilometers, with salt on my shirt and nothing left to spend. So I started carrying water, started eating before hunger, started sleeping like training, not like something extra. The boring parts began to matter more than the moments I wanted to post. My watch said slow down, my pride said don't. The long run answer, choose who you trust, 'cause the marathon doesn't care about early fire, it waits in the later miles and asks what you say. I'm learning how to last, not just how to fly, learning when to hold back so I can arrive alive. I'm learning how river turn, I let two runners pass and kept my breathing under control. No battle today, no secret scoreboard, just a gel in my pocket and a plan I finally followed. The wind came sideways, near the baseball field, and my legs complained but didn't collapse. That felt different, not heroic, just useful, just enough. Maybe discipline is not always harder, sometimes it's quieter than people expect. Stopping at red lights, walking through tight cabs, choosing tomorrow over one proud kilometer. I'm learning how to last through the middle miles, through the lonely stretch where music gets thin. I'm learning how to last, not chasing every spark, keeping one small flame for the place it gets dark, 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 dark. 30 kilometers used to take my name, bend it out of shape, leave it on the curb. Now I bring breakfast, bring softer shoulders, bring the kind of pace that doesn't need applause. I'm learning how to laugh until the crowd returns, until the legs get heavy and the clock gets loud. I'm learning how to last, not as someone fearless, but as someone prepared to meet the hard part. Less rush, more breath, save enough, finish whole. I kept the laces loose, like I might change my mind. Standing in the hallway with the porch light on. The watch was waiting, but I turned the pace off. Tonight was not for numbers, tonight was for nerve. My left calf remembered more than I wanted, the sharp little warning from weeks ago. So I stepped outside like touching cold water, half afraid, half asking permission. Then the phone bent softly under my weight, and the pavement didn't punish me for coming back late. One careful stride, then one more after. Not brave enough to brag, but enough to begin. When my shoes said yes, I stopped arguing with the fear in my chest and the doubt in my legs. When my shoes said yes, I didn't need a perfect sign, just the quiet little click of my body saying try. I chose the short loop, past the closed bakery, past the bus stop, past the house with blue curtains. No runner passed me, no one clapped, only my breathing counting me back in. At 2 kilometers, I almost checked the time, then left my wrist alone in the dark. Some nights are not races, some nights are repairs, some nights you win by not needing to prove. The marathon poster still hung by my desk, but tonight I wasn't chasing 42 kilometers. I was chasing one feeling, soft and almost hitting the feeling that running had not locked me out. When my shoes said yes, I followed slowly past the tightness, past the careful breath. When my shoes said yes, I found a small green light, not in the distance, but under my feet. If tomorrow wakes, I'll respect it. If the knee complains, I'll walk home early. That won't be failure, that will be wisdom. I want 1,000 runs, not one reckless night. When my shoes said yes, I came back gently, not as the runner I used to imagine. When my shoes said yes, I became someone quieter, someone who could start again without making noise. Loose laces, soft steps, small yes, I'm back. Yeah, yeah. I parked the watch beside the kitchen keys. No pace to prove, no split to chase. Just a careful breath and a nervous knee at the front door before 5 kilometers. The first few steps felt borrowed, like my legs were asking questions. Is this okay? Can we trust this? Will the pain stay quiet today? I passed the corner where I used to speed up, but today I let the green light change. No shame in waiting, no medal for forcing. I came back to listen this time. This is the comeback run, not loud, not perfect, not fast enough for anyone. But my shoes touched the ground again, and something in me answered yes. The river looked normal, like nothing had happened, like I hadn't counted weeks from the window. A cyclist passed, 2 kids laughed, and I remembered life keeps moving. At 3 kilometers I almost smiled, not because it was easy, but because I was here. No finish gate, no crowd noise, just breathe, returning to rhythm. I used to think coming back meant becoming the runner I was before, but maybe today is not about before. Maybe today gets its own name. This is the comeback run, small steps, warm lungs, sunlight on tired shoulders. I don't need to win the morning, I only need to belong to it again. If the calf complains, I'll slow down. If the chest gets heavy, I'll walk the shade. That isn't losing, that's how I stay long enough to run another day. This is the comeback run, 5 kilometers, no drama, just a quiet return. And when I stopped outside my house, I didn't feel finished, I felt invited back. Oh, one step then another, not before, but again.
Left my hesitation in a room with the lights off, where every plan ended before morning.
I used to call it timing, used to call it being careful, but I know now I was only staying small.
Then one honest step became a line behind me,
And the life I knew started losing its shape.
not in a single moment, not with thunder.
Just quietly,
I became hard to pull back. I can't go back there, not to the version
that apologize.
for wanting more.
I can't shrink again,
Just to feel safer
I have seen too much.
of what I can become.
There are days I miss the comfort of not trying,
No clock to beat,
no promise to protect,
but comfort has a ceiling
and I kept hitting it.
until my own silence
Started feeling too low.
now even fear
Has to speak differently,
because it
I
knows
don't obey so fast.
I may slow
I
down,
may disappear for a while,
but disappearing
is not the same as surrender. Can't go back there,
where I buried my voice
where I made peace.
with being almost.
That place still remembers me,
But I don't belong
I outgrew that door.
before I notice.
Maybe this is what changes
Not the body,
not the number,
not the applause.
maybe the real change
It's the quiet refusal
to betray yourself after finally listening.
I can't go back there, even if I get tired,
Even if the next step
takes everything.
the future is not clear,
But the past is too small.
and I would rather tremble forward
Then sit there again.
no return, no shrinking, one breath forward.
I said I was done somewhere around kilometer 18, when the wind felt stronger than my reasons, and every step started negotiating with comfort. I said I was done after the bad race, after the missed goal, after another result that didn't match the effort I thought I'd given. And for a moment I believed it, I really did. The frustration sounded convincing. The disappointment made a strong argument that night. I said I was done chasing, done trying, done caring this much. Yet somehow the road kept appearing inside my thoughts anyway. The shoes stayed quiet for a few days, maybe a week, like they understood. I needed space to be dramatic for a little while. Then a familiar sunset crossed the window, a runner passed outside. The weather felt perfect, and suddenly the decision wasn't finished anymore. Maybe I wasn't missing running, maybe I was missing the version of myself that only appears when effort becomes a daily habit. I said I was done, but the dream disagreed, the goal disagreed. The quiet part of me that still believes something meaningful was ahead disagreed. For someone, it's a marathon goal. For someone, a business. For someone, a promise made years ago to themselves. And that's the problem with real dreams, they don't leave politely. When asked, they keep returning through memories and unfinished thoughts. The older I get, the more I laugh at my dramatic exits, because history suggests I'll probably be back before long again. I said I was done more than once, maybe more than 10 times, but every version of goodbye ended the same way, with running shoes by the door. Done? Maybe. Tomorrow, we'll see. We'll see. The predictions sounded reasonable, based on the evidence, based on the numbers, based on where I stood at the beginning, with more questions than answers. No impressive background, no special advantage, no obvious sign that this story would become anything worth remembering later. If I'm honest, I understood the doubt, because some days I borrowed it myself and carried it farther than I should have. Zero chance, look again. You're measuring today like tomorrow can't exist. You're judging the sea like it should already look like a forest. The first run was slow, the first attempt was messy. The first version barely resembled the picture I carried inside my head for years. Yet every ordinary effort kept adding something too small to notice at the time, but impossible to ignore when viewed together later. People underestimate accumulation, because accumulation doesn't perform, it simply works quietly for a very long time. Zero chance, look again. The distance is shrinking, even if you can't see it. The future is changing, even if it hasn't introduced itself yet. For someone, it's their first marathon. Someone, they first business. Someone, a dream so large it feels embarrassing to say out loud. And that's the strange thing about meaningful goals. They often begin looking unrealistic because the future version of you doesn't exist yet. The world loves evidence, but evidence arrives late, long after the effort, long after the discipline, long after the mornings nobody witnessed. Maybe impossible isn't a wall, maybe impossible is a photograph taken too early before the story is finished developing. Because every achievement once looked unlikely from the perspective of the person standing at the beginning, wondering if they belong. Zero chance, look again. I've seen too many futures built by persistence to trust first impressions. The road has taught me the probabilities change when people refuse to stop too early to decide what's possible. I still have goals, still have unfinished plans, still have distances that look intimidating from where I'm standing today. So it's easy to focus forward, to measure the gap between who I am and who I want to be someday. But something happened while I was staring ahead. The starting line quietly disappeared behind years of ordinary effort. Far from where I started, further than I noticed. The things that felt impossible became part of my routine. And somewhere along the way, the person I hoped to become started looking back at me. There was a time when 5 kilometers felt enormous, when racing trees felt intimidating, when confidence lived somewhere else. Now those memories feel strangely distant, not because they weren't real, but because growth slowly changed what normal looked like. The strange thing about progress is that it moves the baseline. Yesterday's breakthrough becomes today's expectation, and tomorrow's starting point before you even notice. Far from where I started and still moving, not because the road is easy, but because the road kept teaching me things comfort never could. For someone it's running, for someone learning a language, for someone building something nobody believed in at first. And every journey creates this moment where you stop, look behind, and barely recognize the person who began. The older I get, the more I respect small beginnings, because every meaningful story eventually becomes a long distance from somewhere humble. Maybe success isn't reaching everything, maybe success is creating distance between your current self and the person who almost never started. Because some victories are measured by where you are, but by how far you've traveled from the beginning. Far from where I started, that's worth remembering on the days when progress feels slow. Because even now I'm living inside a future I once hoped for. Long road The numbers improved again this season. A little faster, a little stronger, a little closer than the version of me from a year ago. People noticed and I appreciated that, but every compliment seemed to stop a few steps short of the place I actually wanted to reach. It's a strange feeling, being proud and frustrated at the same time, celebrating progress while mourning the gap that still remains. How close is close enough? How much progress counts? When does almost finally become something worth resting in? Because the finish line keeps moving inside my mind. I remember dreaming about this level years ago. Back then, today would've looked like success without question. Yet standing here now, all I can see is the next distance, the next challenge, the next version of who I wanna become. Maybe ambition has poor eyesight, maybe it struggles to see what's already gained, because it's always staring at what's still missing. How close is close enough? Close enough for pride, close enough for peace, close enough to stop measuring myself against a horizon that keeps expanding. For someone it's a marathon time, for someone a promotion, for someone a dream they've chased so long it became part of their identity. And maybe that's why the question matters, 'cause when a goal lives inside you long enough, the finish line becomes personal. The older I get, the more I wonder whether success is reaching the summit or becoming someone capable of climbing it in the first place. Maybe I don't need a perfect answer. Maybe the tension between gratitude and ambition isn't a problem to solve. Maybe growth lies there in that space where you're thankful for how far you've come and hungry for what still lies ahead. How close is close enough? I still don't know, but I know this: the younger version of me would be amazed to see how far we've come. Maybe that's worth something too. Still reaching, still grateful, still running. Another close finish, another encouraging smile, another reminder that progress is happening, and somehow it felt harder to hear than it used to. I've collected enough almost stories to fill entire notebooks. Races decided by seconds, goals missed by inches, dreams that wave back from the other side. People mean well when they say you're getting closer, but some evenings closer feels suspiciously similar to not there yet. Getting tired of, almost tired of, nearly tired of standing close enough to see it, close enough to imagine it, and still walking home without it. The road knows this feeling, I brought it here before, under different skies, different years, different versions of myself, asking the same question again. How much longer? How many more attempts? How many more mornings before effort finally introduces me to the thing I've chased? The frustrating part is that I still care. If I didn't care, it would be easier, but the dream still has my attention after all this time. Getting tired of almost, but not tired enough to quit, not tired enough to stop showing up, not tired enough to abandon the road that brought me here. For someone, it's a qualifying time. For someone, a promotion. For someone, a goal they've carried so long it feels stitched into them. And every near miss creates two voices, one saying enough, the other saying look how close you are, and both sound convincing. Maybe perseverance isn't noble all the time. Maybe sometimes it's frustration, wearing running shoes and refusing to stay home. I don't need motivation today, I don't need inspiration. I need one honest reason to believe that all all these almost are building towards something real. Because somewhere inside me there's still a stubborn hope that refuses to let disappointment have the final word. Getting tired of almost, but maybe that's part of it. Maybe every meaningful dream asks this question eventually. How badly do you want it when close isn't enough anymore? Still frustrated, still trying, still here. Still here.
Close enough to see it, too far to touch it. That was the story more times than I'd like. Standing near goals that seemed to move whenever I approached. A few seconds missing, a few places short, a few mistakes too many, a few opportunities late. Nothing dramatic, just small distances with large emotions. People celebrate winners because winners have endings, but most journeys live somewhere else. Between almost and not yet. Always one step short, always one more hill, always another reason to come back tomorrow. The dream stayed ahead, not to punish me, but to keep me moving. I remember the finish lines that didn't go my way. The races where effort was enough for pride, but not enough for the result I wanted. The strange thing is those disappointments never left completely. They followed me home, became part of the fuel for future mornings. Maybe frustration has its own purpose. Maybe near misses teach lessons that easy victories never bother teaching. Always one step short and still showing up, still lacing the shoes, still chasing the horizon, still believing that next attempt might tell a different story. For someone, it's a marathon goal. For someone, an exam score. For someone, a business dream hovering just beyond reach. And every almost carries a choice. Become bitter or become better. Walk away or learn something useful from the distance. The older I get, the more I understand that progress often wears the disguise of disappointment before revealing itself later. Maybe the goal was never mocking me. Maybe it was teaching me how much stronger I was willing to become to reach it. Because some dreams stay just out of reach long enough to transform the person doing the reaching. Always one step short until one day I'm not. And if that day comes, it won't be luck. It'll be every attempt that almost worked finally working. Not there yet. Still moving. Still close. The world suggested I should know by now who I am, what I want, where I'm going, and how the story ends before it gets there. But every year keeps teaching me that certainty is rare, and becoming never really finishes. It simply changes shape along the way. Some people stop dreaming, some stop trying, some stopped asking what else might be possible after enough disappointments collected over time. Still making promises to tomorrow. That's how I know the fire survived. Not louder, not younger, just steady enough to keep moving forward again. One more run for a stronger future. One more lesson for a wider world. One more attempt for a dream that still deserves a chance. Most of those efforts look insignificant while they're happening. Just ordinary evenings spent investing in someone I haven't met yet. The future never asks for perfection, only participation, only presence, only another vote cast in favor of possibility. Still making promises to tomorrow, through tired legs, through long work days, through unfinished plans and responsibilities that never seem to take a day off. For someone, tomorrow means healing. For someone, freedom. For someone, a marathon finish line, still glowing softly on the horizon. And every promise sounds small at first. Wake up earlier, run one more mile, learn one more thing, save a little more, keep going. The older I become, the more I admire people who still believe, not blindly but bravely, after reality has shown its full weight. Maybe hope isn't a feeling, maybe hope is a habit, the decision to keep preparing for a future you cannot guarantee will arrive. Because every meaningful life contains unseen faith, small daily actions placed carefully into days that haven't happened yet. Still making promises to tomorrow, and maybe I always will. Because giving up on tomorrow would mean giving up on the person I am still becoming, one ordinary day at a time. Future unseen, promise made, see you tomorrow. There was a time when dreaming felt effortless. The future seemed endless. Possibilities multiplied faster than doubts, and every horizon looked reachable somehow. Then life arrived within voices, responsibilities, unexpected losses, and lessons that no classroom ever prepared us for. Somewhere along the way, I became practical, careful, realistic. Words people praise without mention.